talking about institutional norms kind of used to be a drum that I would beat back in the olden times between 2017 and 2021, when Donald Trump was president before. Because it was shocking at the time. It was alarming. I'm going to be doing less of that because it's, one, no longer alarming at all because it's just the world we live in. But we're going to have to learn to also break those institutional norms, historic norms. We're going to have to fight fire with fire. And in this video, I'm going to talk about Tommy Tuberville, the most military man that's ever not worn a uniform ever, for not even a second. He's never even cosplayed as someone who was an active duty member of the United States military. And as someone who actually did serve for years in uniform on active duty in the United States Marine Corps, it bothers me, it grates on me that this physical coward is trading on his patriotism, calling himself the most military person ever. He's a coward and a weakling. And now, speaking of institutional norms, he's saying that we don't want FBI background checks on cabinet level positions, mainly because they're going to get to the truth, and that truth would then be the subject of Freedom of Information Act requests. It would be transparent, many of the things that they would find. They don't want that, especially related to Pete Hegseth, who has been accused, credibly, of horrible crimes against other human beings, among other things, like being such a wild, incapacitated drunk that he has to be carried out of conferences and bars where he harasses strippers, and he's just a vile, sickening troll of a human being, up to and including rape. We're going to get to that. Here's Tommy Tuberville with Larry Kudlow, another Trump sycophant, just ass-licking bootlick, Larry Kudlow. And here they are talking about this process of the FBI background checks. And he calls it, we don't want no background checks from the fake FBI, everybody. Just stop electing stupid motherfuckers to high office. No need for a bleep, Chris. Producer Chris. No need for a bleep. Tommy Tuberville is a stupid motherfucker who does not need power. He needs to be nowhere near its vicinity whatsoever because of his absolute willingness to bend the knee to Donald Trump. Here he is with Larry Kudlow talking about the fake FBI and their lack of ability to do background checks, the thing that they actually very much do well.
He's a highly decorated veteran. As I recall, 2 Bronze Stars fought in, I believe, 2 theaters of war, combat service, by the way. We haven't had that in quite some time. So my other point is this. You're going to get to these hearings. I don't see why the FBI, in its present constitution, in the FBI, I don't see why they should be allowed to vet anybody. They don't deserve it. They haven't earned it. We're putting in Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and others to clean the corrupt stables of the Justice Department and the FBI. Why can't the Senate, without the FBI, let the Senate do its own job with its own staff and come up with its own questions? That's my last question to you, sir.
We pretty much do that anyway, Larry. We're not going to listen to the fake Bureau of Investigation. They've been off the rails now for the last 4 or 5 years.
So he would have a private organization handpicked by Donald Trump do the background checks. Zero transparency. We'd have no idea what they found. We would have no idea what they didn't find. It would be just up to Trump to just trust us. Just trust Tommy Tuberville to tell you the truth. A man who believes that if you rape a woman, that if enough time passes, these allegations they're talking about, some of these happened a long time ago, so we can just ignore them. Here he is in the second part of this conversation.
For heaven's sakes, the police report is this. It says nothing happened. They didn't bring any charges. Now, let's get to the agenda you just talked about. And Pete put it in his book, War on Warriors.
Exactly, and you can read a lot about that, as you just said, Larry. The thing about Pete is he's well-spoken. It's all out there. People can look at it, but a lot of this stuff was years ago. Now, again, you've got to be responsible for your actions. But Pete has done everything he possibly can do to get it out there, to talk to people. Again, when we get to the hearings, probably somewhere around January 9th or 10th, Larry, it's going to be about the military. It's not going to be about his past references. Now, the Democrats are going to do everything they can to destroy probably one of the better people that we've ever had in the as a possible appointee as Secretary of Defense. But that's all they have. And they're going to try to destroy him. It's not going to work. He's going to work.
Oh, he's well-spoken. You didn't mention that. I had no idea Pete Hegseth was a well-spoken rapist. If you'd mentioned that up front, maybe my opinion would be different. Now that I know that, I should reassess. He says, a lot of this stuff was years ago. What stuff? Tommy Tuberville, are you talking about the rape? Is that the thing that happened years ago, so we should just ignore it? If it was up to you, Tommy Tuberville, and others out there, they would not have us know about it at all, because these private background checks will keep that information from the public, from the American taxpayer who pays for our government, who would pay the salary of the Secretary of Defense if it indeed was Pete Hegseth. Again, not the only allegation against him that is disqualifying. Here is about 1 minute and 15 seconds from Norah O'Donnell with CBS News talking about other allegations that he is facing that are mounting now that I believe will stop his nomination in its tracks.
The newly resurfaced accusations followed Pete Hegseth to Capitol Hill today. CBS News has confirmed the Army veteran and Fox News host was forced to step down as head of the nonprofit Concerned Veterans for America in 2016. The group's founders, billionaire Republican donors Charles and David Koch, pushed Hegseth out after staffers accused him of financial mismanagement, sexual misconduct, and repeated intoxication. According to The New Yorker, which first reported about the complaints, Hegseth sometimes got drunk to the point of needing to be carried out of the organization's events.
Can you tell us why you resigned, sir?
CBS's Nicole Killian asked Hegseth about that today between Senate meetings.
When you were at Concerned Veterans for America, were you ever drunk while traveling on the job?
Not going to dignify that with a response.
Hegseth, who has been tapped by President-elect Trump to overhaul the massive Department of Defense, was already dealing with allegations that he sexually assaulted a woman at a Republican convention in Monterey, California in 2017. But he was never criminally charged. And Alabama Senator Tommy Tuberville, who met with him today, said it doesn't bother him.
What I've talked to him about, what I've read, what I've studied, and been around him, I'll vote for it.
This just in, Tommy Tuberville claims he can read. By the way, when she asked, hey, have you ever been carried out of a place because you were too hammered to stand on your own when you were at a work event? Oh, I'm not going to dignify that with a response. That's not a no. If the answer was no, you would dignify the allegation with the response. You'd say, yeah, no, that never happened. But he doesn't want to give anybody the motivation to come out and rebut that answer, that lie. This is where we are. This is what we will be dealing with for the remainder of Donald Trump's second term and long into the future, probably after that, because MAGA has taken hold of our government. And we will see what kind of a nonsense that will come to pass because of it. We don't know at this point exactly how damaging it will be. If this first couple of months, this first month has been any indication, it's not going to be great when he tries to put Matt Gaetz as Attorney General. Kash Patel as the FBI director, and Pete Hegseth, rapist, incapacitated drunk, allegedly, as the Secretary of Defense. The leader of the most powerful military the earth has ever known, and maybe will ever know. What do you think? I invite you to this conversation. You can comment below. You can also call the voicemail line, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me as always, daily at dollemore.com. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Look, I said it the day or two after the election that it's a different flavor of program here. If you thought I was aggressive before, you were under a misapprehension, because I am more aggressive now. It's because what we need is aggression. What we need is to be on the offensive with these people. Anyway, follow me on social media. I'm on Blue Sky and others at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. Please consider becoming a channel member for $2 a month. You can click the join button, become a channel member. Go to my Patreon page, patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. I will leave you alone. Until next time, be genuine and take care of one another.